Welcome back to the channel. This is Gillis TV here on Clemhawks, and today we got some Montreal Canadiens news. Well, pre-game news, I should say, and also the rumor about Jonathan Drouin. What's happening there? But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, and let's get to it as the support on the channel has been phenomenal. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. Now, like I said, game tonight versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jonathan Drouin rumors, possibly. Let's start with that. Jonathan Drouin has been rumored to be being shopped by the Montreal Canadiens, not because of his play or anything. It's because they need to try and upgrade their defense with Matheson being injured, Edmondson being injured. You know, their defense core took a hit when you know, I'm not saying the trades they did were terrible. The trades made them better, but it also took a piece out of their defense at a point where, you lost Jeff Petrie, who arguably was probably the best defenseman Montreal had over the last few seasons. Romanoff in that trade, bringing in Kirby Dach. That's a good trade. But like I said, the defense from Montreal took a hit this offseason and injuries are starting to pile up. Caden Gooley, like I said on Gillis TV, was going to be on the Montreal Canadiens early this season, and he clearly is as we see Josh Anderson score. But the odd man out right now is you traded Mikhail Sergachev for Jonathan Drouin. Sergachev's been soaring high in Tampa Bay, where Drouin hasn't. He's been a good player. Don't get me wrong. A good, decent player. But he is the odd man out when you look at this team for Montreal, where Shea Weber's gone, Peachy's gone, Romanoff's gone. You traded Brett Kulak to the Edmonton Oilers last year, and now he has a 3-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers signed this offseason. There were rumors that maybe he was going to come back to Montreal. That didn't happen. He decided, hey, I'm staying in Edmonton. I'm an Alberta kid. I'm going to stay here. And now the defense, yeah, you got a bunch of rookies, which isn't a bad thing. Get them the experience. But you still need to have a good core defense to help win hockey games. I know a lot of fans are going to comment, well, we're not trying to win a Stanley Cup this year. No, you're trying to build your team for the future to win a Stanley Cup. I'm not saying Montreal is going to win a Stanley Cup this year. If they make the playoffs, that's great for Montreal. That's, a stepping stone in the right direction. You don't want to go backwards, and from last year, there should not be going any backwards, considering how 2 years ago you guys did in Montreal did in the bubble. Jonathan Drouin, like I said, is the odd guy out of this picture for me, and it seems for a lot of people, to try and get a defenseman back to give the back end more experience, upgrade the back end. They played phenomenal against Tampa Bay, then they go play Detroit, and it was cluster. I can't say the other word to go with that because of little kids who watch this. But it is an upgrade that needs to be done for the Montreal Canadiens. Jake Allen's a good goalie. He's not a superstar goalie like Suzerkin, Vasilevsky, those guys. But Jake Allen is a good goalie that can give you 60 starts a season as long as he's not getting peppered with shot after shot after shot and having no one in front of him playing defense. So for me, you got to think about that too, as I'm not going to speculate who the Montreal Canadiens should go for. There are a couple guys out there, but we'll let that be for now, and that will be a separate video, as this is going to be a bit longer video with the pregame I'm doing right after this. But you got to try and upgrade your defense somehow, and Jonathan Drouin is the guy that seems like the odd man out, and they could surprise us. It could be someone else that gets traded, but the rumors right now, Jonathan Drouin is being shopped by the Montreal Canadiens. Now, we got Montreal is in or at home versus the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Huge matchup. Pittsburgh 2-0 on the season, Montreal 1-2. Montreal looking to hand Pittsburgh their first loss of the season. And to start things off, let's go through the lineups here as your first line is Caulfield, Suzuki, Monahan. Second line, Dandonoff, Dvorak, Gallagher. Third, Drouin, Doc, Anderson. And fourth is Slavolsky, or I can't say his name, I'm sorry about that. Jake Evans and Mike Hoffman. Your D pairings is Caden Gooley and David Savard, Jordan Harris and Jonathan Kovacevic. I probably messed that up. Arbor Haykaw and Chris Weidman. I probably messed some names up there. I'm good at English names. The other names not so much. Also, a note for this game, Jake Allen won't be playing tonight after taking a parental leave from the team. Caden Premio was recalled from Laval, and Sam Monteval will get the start in net. Michael Pezzetta and Rem Pitlick were the extras up front for practice today. So those are the lineups going against the Pittsburgh Penguins, who, that brings back saying the defense. That is a young defense, don't get me wrong, with Jordan Harris, Caden Gooley. Caden Gooley is going to be a really special player. I've said that many times before. I've watched Caden Gooley play for the Edmonton Oil Kings. I've watched him throughout his career in the WHL and whatnot. And he is a phenomenal defenseman. It'll take some time to learn, but I compare his timetable like Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers, where Bouchard was a high-end pick, didn't make the team the first year, went back to play in the CHL, then went to the AHL, then finally made it. That's going to be Caden Gooley's time frame roughly. Not that exact way, but to get him to be that NHL defender, Caden Gooley is going to be one of Montreal's best defenders for years to come. And like I said, Jake Allen not playing today, parental leave. But hey, the keys to the game versus Pittsburgh is shut them down. Get them in the neutral zone. Pittsburgh sucks if they can't control the neutral zone. You take the neutral zone away from Sidney Crosby, Malkin, Ricard Raquel, they won't do anything there. So that's one key thing for the Montreal Canadiens, to stay on that blue line, control that neutral zone. You'll win the game. The dump and chase Pittsburgh Penguins is no more, with losing a lot of their bigger guys a few years ago. They are still a fast team, don't get me wrong. Kapanen, Raquel can still fly, but Crosby's getting up there in age, Malkin's up there in age, Letang's up there in age. Not saying that they're old, I'm saying for hockey standards, they are up there in age, and the Montreal Canadiens will have the advantage if they can play the speed game against those guys. But like I said, that's the pregame lineups for tonight's matchup versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, as well as Jonathan Drouin rumors start heating up. Is he the odd man out? I believe so, but if you don't, let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.